So let me be the first to tell you, if you don't know, if you live in Timbuktu, Ohio, and I'm sorry for picking on Ohio, but if you live way out in the country, if you got tumbleweeds like kind of rolling behind you, if you got horses and stuff in your background, I shouldn't have to say this, but it's going to be hard for you to make money with Uber. It's going to be really hard. It's going to be really hard for you to make money with Uber and Lyft, in the sense of making $200, $300 a day consistently. Because you got tumbleweeds in your background. If your next door neighbor is a horse, I mean, I think you get the point. Listen, there are a lot of places in the world. Now I will say your life is probably much more peaceful because nature is beautiful. As you can see, just being out in nature, being able to kind of walk around freely. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not technically in nature like that, but like being able to inhale the fresh air, it's a nice thing, But the biggest thing is you gotta be in an area where you got volume. Look, everybody thinks that I can easily say, I want to be very straightforward with you. I want to be the person to tell you, you may see videos of $200 a day, $300 a day, $400, $500, I don't know. A lot of money a day. In terms of deliveries, in terms of like food deliveries, in terms of ride share, my channel is primarily Uber. You might see those videos, but those videos don't apply to everybody. Maybe you didn't know that, but they don't. They don't apply to everybody because not everybody has a market for it. What am I saying? In order to have a huge day, the first and the biggest thing that you need in your market is people. Like, as you can see, I'm walking through an empty, well, not really empty parking lot, but I'm kind of walking through a parking lot. But even at this time, there's still a lot of cars. There's people walking around with me, because I live in the South Florida market. If you don't know, Miami to be exact. Even at late at night, still a lot of people. And honestly, this parking lot might get full the later and later the night goes. And it's a Monday, right? The later and later the day goes, the parking lot might get fuller and fuller. More full, more and more. More full and more full. Because that's what it's like. When you live in a big city, and I mean, obviously I'm more so talking about Miami, South Florida, but it doesn't have to be Miami. We could be talking about Atlanta and Georgia. We could be talking about, I don't know, I'm trying to think of the other big cities. We could be talking about any other big city. Let me just say it like that. Obviously like New York. Obviously there's big cities in California. I don't know. I really can't think of any other big cities. I'm biased. I'm biased to the south side of the United States. I really can't think of any other cities. But I mean, the point that I'm making is, if you're not in a big city, it's really tough to make those days. You need volume. You need volume. And by volume, I mean you need requests. And not just any requests, because, a lot of y'all don't even like to take a lot of requests. So you need a large volume. You can't cherry pick when you don't have cherries. You can't cherry pick when you only got 3 cherries. I mean, technically you can, but then you didn't do anything the whole day. And that's what happens with some of y'all. In certain markets, you could cherry pick, but you cherry pick and now you don't have nothing else to do. So, yes, in some markets, yes, it's very possible to make $200, $300, $400 a day and beyond, because you have to have the volume. That's the first thing. Now, once you have the volume, the second thing that you need is a strategy. Look, everybody, I know a lot of people like to say you can just turn on the app, go in these special places, and you're going to make money. No, that is not true. You need a strategy. You need a strategy to be able to make the money that you want to make. I can call my paycheck because I have a strategy that allows me to do that. Now, I'm not saying that I could call $600, but I mean, I can technically. I would have to work all day and night. But the point, you know, and obviously if you watch I made $1,000 on New Year's. I technically called that. But, you know, obviously that was a special night, you know. But my strategy allows me to know how much I can make. I know that I can make $200. I know that I can make $100. Easy. $100 is nothing. $100 is like in my sleep. I know that I could do $200. $200 is almost nothing. You know, because I'm gonna, you know, but I know I have to put in more hours than I would have to do for $100. $100, give me like 2-3 hours, I got $100. $200, maybe like 6-7 hours. Then you start talking about $300 and $400, man, listen, I'm gonna be out here all day long. I ain't going to sleep. Because that's just, you know, but I have a market that allows me to be able to say that. Like, in my market, I have the volume. Like I said, again, this is still, you know, still a lot of cars here. And this is just in this parking lot. If I go to the next parking lot, you'll see an incredible, you know, where there's actually like other places. Like there's a Publix over there. And yeah, that parking lot is full. You know, so, and I know it's parking lots, right? You probably like, what are you talking about with parking lots? Parking lots don't matter. What I'm saying is, if you have the volume, then you know that there's a good amount of requests. That's what you need. You need a good amount of requests. Then, now that you got a good amount of requests, you need the strategy. You need to know, and by strategy, I guess I should explain that. Strategy, when I say you need a strategy, you need to know where to go and what time to go. That is a strategy. So if you guys notice, I am not random places. I don't just turn on my app in random places because it's not going to benefit me. I turn on my app at certain points. You know, obviously, sometimes I work the airport. Sometimes I'm working, you know, I'm working downtown. Sometimes I work Miami. Sometimes. Sometimes I'm working up north. Sometimes I'm working down south. Sometimes, you know, I'm in the middle. I'm on Las Solis. Sometimes I'm working the clubs. It all depends on what time and what's my strategy. So for me, my strategy isn't going to work for everybody. I'm going to just keep it real with you. Even in my market, my strategy doesn't work for everybody. Because remember, I have a Tesla, and at least, what's today? Today is the 13th, so at least for right now, I still got Premiere. So, you know, I have a couple more platforms than most people. So at least right now, my strategy is amazing. And my strategy is very simple. For my strategy, all I say is, I want $8 or better. I say $8 or better. So if the offer isn't $8 or better, I'm not taking it. If it's a $5 offer, if it's a $4 offer, $3 offer, I'm not taking it. But if it's $8 or better, $8, $10, $15, I'm going to take it. My strategy, I prefer longer trips. I prefer, you know, a ride from Miami to West Palm Beach over, you know, what would that be? Like maybe 6-7 rides that would take me from Miami to West Palm Beach. I prefer one. I don't want the 6 rides. Don't give me the 6, 7 rides. Give me the 1. I'll take that one. Because for my strategy, I like to make my money as quick as possible. And for me, having 1 passenger is way better than having many. So for my strategy, that works for me, you know. And then I also pay attention to the time, not the mileage. So like I always tell you, if it's a 30-minute trip, then I cut it in half and I want to at least be paid $15. That's my strategy. But that's not everybody else's strategy, you know? That doesn't work for some people. Some people feel like that's too low and you want more money and yada, yada, yada. So, and then the last and the biggest reason why you may not be making money in your market, I'm gonna call a spade a spade. Look, let me start off and just say the economy in 2025 is completely different from the economy in 2022, 2021, 2020, you know what I'm saying, 2019. It's different. And what do I mean by that? It's more expensive today than it used to be. Again, like I told y'all in the last video, you can't even go to McDonald's and get a value meal. They don't even have the value menu up there no more. Remember, McDonald's used to have the dollar menu. They don't have the dollar menu no more. Everything is like $2 and up. Like, you used to be able to go to Family Dollar. Well, no, you used to be able to go to the dollar store and actually pay $1 for a lot for the items in there. But the funny thing is, the items in there now ain't $1. It ain't $1. It's $2. $2.50. Because that's where our economy is. Our economy is just different. It ain't that no more. I know a lot of y'all feel like we still living in those same times, but we're not. Things are more expensive. So people don't have as much extracurricular money like they used to. That's one hand. But 2, it's just, you know, people don't want to blow money. Some people ain't got it like that. A lot of people are struggling. So when it comes to Uber and Lyft, the last and most important reason that you may not be making the money in your market, if your market has volume, you know, I can only think of Atlanta right now, and that's sad. I guess like a Boston, New York. I can't think of cities right now. But if your market has volume, you got, you know, people are ordering Ubers in your market, you're getting requests. So if you got the volume and you have a strategy that works for you, you know your strategy works. The biggest reason why you're not making money on Uber or Lyft, because you don't want to put in the time. And I know, I get it. Everybody wants to only work 5 hours and make $50,000. I get that. I get it. And I respect you all, because you think that if you work 5 hours, you're going to make $50,000 in that day. But it ain't going to happen. It just ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen like that. It's just not going to happen like that. As much as you may want it to, it ain't going to happen like that. You got to be willing to put in the time. Again, my recommendation is, if you really want to make the money, you really want to make $200-$300 every day, you got to at least be willing to put in full-time hours. Because what most people won't tell you is, this is a job. And yeah, you could do it part-time, but when you do it full-time, that's when you start hitting the bigger numbers. That's just kind of common sense, right? You gotta be willing to put in 8 hours. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to talk sense to you guys. I don't know if it's clicking yet, but yeah. With that being said, man, I'm starting to smell some smoke in the air. Again, shout out to everybody in California. If you're surviving, you know, I'm happy to hear that. But smelling the smoke, it's more so from this restaurant, Bonefish and Grill. But Yeah, smelling this smoke made me think about that. So salute to everybody in California that's going with the fires. You know, that is a real situation. Hope you guys are doing okay. But yeah, other than that, man, I love you guys. I always appreciate you guys. Please, if you're not a part of the Telegram group, you should join the Telegram group. Hit the link in the description. But don't just join it. Be a verb. But yeah, man, other than that, man, I'm about to get out of here because I've already charged up now. So it's time to get back to work. But yeah, all right, guys. Deuces.